Hi, everybody. It's Jay Privman along with Marty McGee. As you know, we do the Derby Watch Top 20 every week. And Marty, we've got two significant races coming up in the next few days that certainly should impact our Derby Watch Top 20. But the one I think you and I are both most interested in is on Saturday. It's the Haskell Invitational. And this is really a great intersectional rivalry. You've got Authentic shipping in from California off a second place finish in the Santa Anita Derby. And you've got Dr. Post, who most recently was second in the Belmont Stakes. Give me your thoughts on how this race, which was just drawn a few hours ago, field of seven, most notably Authentic and Dr. Post. What do you think of them?
Well, the East-West rivalry to which you refer, Jay, has been a pretty one-sided one over the last, 15 years or so with whatever Bob Baffert brings from California seems to end up the winner. He's won it 8 times. But Authentic has a chance, if he runs the way that a lot of the Baffert horses have at Monmouth Park, to crash the elite of the Derby Watch Top 20. Right now we have Tiz the Law, Honor AP, and Art Collector as clear-cut top 3 favorites. And Authentic is poised, if he can run the way that you say that Bob says he's training and the way his form has been mostly, to go on and join those that trio. So he is the 4-5 favorite on the line. He faces 6 other 3-year-olds in the Haskell, and he's well drawn in post 2 with Mike Smith to ride. And you would think he has a good chance to win, but there is some other speed in there. I'm not saying that he couldn't win from off the pace. But the race is pretty interesting the way it shapes up on paper.
I thought he ran a good race, Marty, last time in the Santa Anita Derby. As you know, I'm very high on Honor AP. The thing that has concerned me about Authentic going into the Santa Anita Derby and still does is that I think 1 1/8 might be getting to the outer range of his comfort zone. I'm not quite sure that he's going to be suited by having to go 1.25 miles for the Kentucky Derby. Obviously, first things first, we'll see how he does on Saturday in the Haskell. He is the 4-5 favorite on Brad Thomas's morning line. As for Dr. Post, who's coming off that second place finish in the Belmont Stakes, I thought he ran a terrific race. He finished second to the acknowledged favorite for the Kentucky Derby in Tiz the Law. He's a lightly raced colt. He's only run a handful of times, and I thought to make the progression that he has in only his 4th start to run as well as he did in that race. And from a discussion I had with Todd Pletcher earlier this week, who says he's continued to train sharply coming out of there, he looks like a real top Derby contender who's obviously benefited by the postponement of the Derby to September 5th. What are your thoughts on Dr. Post?
Yeah, sorry for interrupting there. He should be a clear-cut second choice, I think, Jay, because you have a horse named Ancient Warrior coming out of sprints for Jerry Hollendorfer, who can go early, as can New York Traffic from his outside post. And we all know that Paco Lopez is an aggressive rider. So if Mike Smith isn't too careful on Authentic, he might get caught up in some kind of speed duel. If not early, then maybe around the final turn. So you would think that would set things up for Dr. Post. And he really ran hard the last 1/8 of a mile or so in the Belmont Stakes. So if it plays out on paper the way that scenario is, the way I laid it out, he could emerge the winner, and he would join, I think, the elite favorites toward the Kentucky Derby.
Marty, drawing the outside post, it's only a field of 7, so it's actually a nice draw, I think, is New York Traffic. He's been one of those horses who's kind of picked up secondary awards in a lot of races so far this year, but most recently, he ran in the Matt Winn at Churchill Downs in Louisville, which is where you're based. What did you think of New York Traffic's race behind Maxfield?
Well, it was good, and since then, you and I have both texted and talked to Saffie Joseph. It seems like he's had every single prep race in play since then. He finally settled on the Haskell. But yeah, I like the open air outside box whereby he can sit there off of Ancient Warrior and perhaps Authentic, and Paco can make his move when he feels like he should. But again, I think that this is for Dr. Post to have it set up to him. Oftentimes come from behinders struggle somewhat at Monmouth Park, but you sure would think that the race shape might be in his favor.
So that's the 3 horses on our Derby Watch Top 20 who were running in the Haskell on Saturday at Monmouth. On Thursday, opening day of Saratoga, is the Peter Pan Stakes. And Marty, there's a couple of horses that we've got on our Derby Watch Top 20 in this race. So let's go through them. First up is Modernist, who I thought really was just poor in the Belmont Stakes last time. Perhaps he can bounce back. He ran a couple of decent races earlier this year. I just don't know if he's made the kind of progress you'd like to see over the last couple months. Where are you at right now with Modernist?
Well, Belmont's given him one more chance. We have obviously dissected the Belmont Stakes more than once since they ran it on June 20th. If you go back and look at it about the 5/16 pole, he's right there with Dr. Post and Pneumatic. And then the last 5/16 of a mile or so, he beat a steady retreat and he got beat 20 lengths. So clearly that's not one of his A races like he ran down in New Orleans over the winter. So it's time for him to redeem himself.
Marty, the postponement of the Derby has enabled a number of horses to get a shot that wouldn't have had a shot if the Derby had been run back on the first Saturday in May. And one of them is Mystic Guide, who's only run 3 times. The race on Thursday will be his stakes debut. I thought he ran a good race chasing a loose on the leader in his most recent start. To me, he's an intriguing horse. I don't think he's quite at top level yet, but I think he's got some upside. What do you think of him?
Yeah, probably not. But, Tap It to Win freaked that day in that allowance at Belmont Park. And then if you look at about maybe the quarter pole or so, there were 5 horses who were in pursuit of him. And Mystic Guide is the one who emerged with a pretty solid late run. And he's like, there's so many horses, even in this race with Country Grammar and Caracaro. If they'd run the Derby on May 2nd, Jay, no shot. But they have a chance to go on and advance on the Derby trail toward the September 5 race with a big effort in the Peter Pan.
Well, that is our look at the 2 big races this week that will offer points towards a berth in the Kentucky Derby. Also here at DRF.com, you'll find a video that Marty and I did recapping the major races from last week as well. And we'll be back next week with more here at DRF.com as we continue to march towards the Kentucky Derby. And obviously you'll be able to find all the stories online on some of the big races this week, including the Haskell and the Peter Pan. For Marty McGee, I'm Jay Privman. We'll see you next week.